Hello, my loves. Today we're going to look at some more Reddit stories, and if you've enjoyed a Reddit story, why don't you consider hitting the subscribe button? Maybe that's the notification bell too, and let's start with today's story. Story 1: Choosing Independence. In the bustling city of New York, lived a young woman named Lily. At 28, Lily had a thriving career as a journalist, a beautiful apartment in Brooklyn, and a vibrant social life. Despite her achievements, she often found herself at the center of conversations about her single status. Lily's choice to remain single was a conscious one, rooted in her desire for independence and personal growth. Her friends and family were supportive, but curious. One evening, during a dinner party at her friend Emma's place, the topic inevitably came up. "Lily, you're so amazing. Why are you still single?" Emma asked, genuinely curious. Lily smiled, taking a moment to gather her thoughts. "I think it's because I value my independence and the freedom to pursue my passions without compromise. It's not that I'm against relationships, I just haven't found one that fits my life right now." Her friends nodded, some understanding and others still curious. Lily continued, sharing her journey of self-discovery and the reasons behind her choice. 1. Personal growth and career focus. Lily had always been driven by her career. From a young age, she knew she wanted to be a journalist, telling stories that mattered. Her dedication paid off, landing her a prestigious role at a top magazine. Being single allowed her the flexibility to travel for stories, work late nights, and fully immerse herself in her passion without worrying about neglecting a partner. 2. Financial independence. Growing up, Lily had seen her parents struggle financially and knew the importance of financial independence. Being single gave her control over her finances, allowing her to save, invest, and spend as she saw fit. She enjoyed the freedom of making her own financial decisions and planning for her future. 3. Exploring passions and hobbies. Lily had a wide range of interests, from painting to hiking to learning new languages. Being single gave her the time and space to explore these hobbies fully. She joined a local art class, spent weekends hiking upstate, and enrolled in a Spanish course. These activities brought her joy and a sense of fulfillment that she wasn't willing to compromise. 4. Social connections. Lily cherished her friendships deeply. She had a close-knit group of friends who were like family. Being single allowed her to nurture these relationships, spending quality time with friends, traveling together, and supporting each other's dreams. Her social life was rich and fulfilling, providing her with the emotional support and companionship she needed. 5. Redefining happiness and success. For Lily, happiness and success were not defined by a relationship status. She found joy in her accomplishments, her friendships, and her personal growth. She believed that being single allowed her to live authentically and pursue her true passions without external pressures. As Lily shared her story, her friends began to see her perspective. They realized that her choice to remain single was not out of necessity, but out of a desire to live a fulfilling and independent life. That night, as Lily walked back to her apartment, she felt a sense of contentment. She knew that her decision to remain single was right for her. She had built a life that she loved, filled with passion, adventure, and deep connections. In the end, Lily's story serves as a reminder that choosing a single life is a valid and fulfilling option for many young people today. It's a choice that allows for personal growth, independence, and the pursuit of one's dreams. For Lily, and many like her, singlehood is not a state of lack but a canvas for creating a rich and meaningful life. Story 2: Embracing Singlehood. In the bustling city of New York lived a woman named Mia. At 32, Mia was a successful marketing executive, known for her creativity and determination. She had a close group of friends, a loving family, and a fulfilling career. Yet, there was one aspect of her life that often drew unsolicited attention: her single status. Mia had been in and out of relationships over the years, but none had lasted. She often found herself at social gatherings, where well-meaning friends and family members would ask, "So, are you seeing anyone?" Mia would smile and politely answer, but deep down, she sometimes felt the societal pressure to be in a relationship. One sunny Saturday morning, Mia decided to take a break from her hectic life and spend the day exploring the city she loved. She visited a quaint coffee shop in Greenwich Village, where she sat by the window, savoring her latte and watching people go by. She found solace in these quiet moments, where she could reflect on her journey and appreciate her independence. As Mia sipped her coffee, she overheard a conversation at the next table. Two women were discussing their relationships, and one of them said, "I just feel like I'm not complete without him." Mia felt a pang of empathy, but also a sense of determination. She didn't want to feel incomplete because she was single. She wanted to embrace her life as it was. Inspired, Mia decided to embark on a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. She started by making a list of things she had always wanted to do, but had put off for various reasons. At the top of her list was traveling solo. Mia had always dreamed of visiting Italy, and now seemed like the perfect time. A month later, Mia found herself in Rome, standing in front of the Colosseum. The sense of freedom and adventure was exhilarating. She spent her days exploring ancient ruins, savoring delicious cuisine, and getting lost in the narrow streets of charming villages. Each moment was a reminder that she could create her own happiness. During her travels, Mia met people from all walks of life, each with their own unique stories. She befriended a fellow solo traveler named Sophia, who was also on a journey of self-discovery. Together, they shared their experiences and dreams, forming a bond that transcended the brief time they spent together. Returning to New York, Mia felt rejuvenated and inspired. She realized that her worth was not defined by her relationship status, but by the life she chose to live. She threw herself into her work with renewed passion, started painting again, a hobby she had neglected for years, and joined a local hiking group to explore the great outdoors. One evening, at a gallery opening where Mia was showcasing her paintings, she ran into an old friend, Mark. They hadn't seen each other in years and quickly fell into easy conversation. Mark was intrigued by Mia's stories of solo travel and personal growth. They exchanged numbers and began meeting up for coffee and hikes, enjoying each other's company without any pressure or expectations. As months passed, Mia's life was rich with new experiences and deepened friendships. She found joy in her solitude and fulfillment in her pursuits. She and Mark grew closer, but this time, there was a sense of mutual respect and understanding. They were both whole individuals, choosing to share their lives without losing their independence. One day, as Mia and Mark stood at the top of a mountain, looking out at the breathtaking view, Mark turned to her and said, "Mia, being with you feels like an adventure." I admire your strength and the way you've embraced your life. I'm glad we reconnected. Mia smiled, feeling a sense of contentment and clarity. Thank you, Mark. I'm glad too. But remember, our happiness comes from within. We're choosing to share our journeys, not complete them. In the end, Mia's story was not about finding love in the traditional sense, but about discovering and embracing herself. She had learned that single life was not a state of lack, but a canvas for creating a fulfilling and meaningful existence. Her journey was a testament to the power of self-love, independence, and the endless possibilities that lay ahead when one embraces life wholeheartedly. Story 3: Finding Strength in Solitude. In the bustling city of Seattle lived a man named Daniel. At 33, Daniel was a successful architect known for his innovative designs and attention to detail. He lived in a stylish apartment downtown and enjoyed a life filled with friends, hobbies, and adventures. Despite his fulfilling life, there was one question that seemed to follow him everywhere: why are you still single? Daniel had been in a few serious relationships over the years, but none had worked out. His friends were mostly married or in long-term relationships, and family gatherings often involved subtle, and not so subtle, comments about his single status. While these remarks stung, Daniel was determined not to let them define his happiness. One rainy afternoon, Daniel decided to take a break from his hectic schedule and visit a small, cozy cafe he had recently discovered. As he sipped his coffee and watched the raindrops race down the window, he reflected on his life. He realized that he had always been someone who found joy in solitude and personal growth. He decided to embrace his single life and focus on the things that made him happy. Daniel started by making a list of personal goals and adventures he wanted to embark on. At the top of his list was a solo trip to Iceland, a place he had always dreamed of visiting. A month later, Daniel found himself standing on the black sand beaches of Vik, feeling the cool Atlantic breeze against his face. The breathtaking landscapes, with their glaciers, waterfalls, and volcanic formations, filled him with a sense of awe and wonder. During his travels, Daniel met other solo adventurers from around the world. He bonded with a fellow traveler named Sophie, who was also exploring Iceland on her own. They shared stories of their journeys and dreams, forming a friendship that enriched their experiences. Sophie admired Daniel's courage to travel alone and pursue his passions, and their conversations helped Daniel see the beauty in his solitary path. Back in Seattle, Daniel returned to his routine with a renewed sense of purpose. He threw himself into his work, taking on challenging projects that pushed the boundaries of his creativity. He also took up photography, capturing the city's architectural marvels and natural beauty through his lens. His photos garnered attention, and he was invited to exhibit his work at a local gallery. One evening, while attending the opening of his photo exhibition, Daniel ran into an old college friend, Kevin. They hadn't seen each other in years and quickly fell into an easy conversation. Kevin was intrigued by Daniel's stories of solo travel and personal growth. They exchanged numbers and began meeting up for coffee and hikes, enjoying each other's company without any pressure or expectations. As months passed, Daniel's life continued to flourish. He found joy in his solitude and fulfillment in his pursuits. He and Kevin grew closer, and their friendship deepened into something more. Daniel appreciated that their relationship was built on mutual respect and understanding, allowing both of them to maintain their independence while sharing their lives. One day, as they stood on a hilltop overlooking the city, Kevin turned to Daniel and said, "Daniel, being with you feels like an adventure. I admire your strength and the way you've embraced your life. I'm glad we reconnected." Daniel smiled, feeling a sense of contentment and clarity. "Thank you, Kevin. I'm glad too. But remember, our happiness comes from within. We're choosing to share our journeys, not complete them." In the end, Daniel's story was not about finding love in the traditional sense, but about discovering and embracing himself. He had learned that being single at 30 was not a state of lack, but a canvas for creating a fulfilling and meaningful existence. His journey was a testament to the power of self-love, independence, and the endless possibilities that lay ahead when one embraces life wholeheartedly. Story 4: Redefining Singlehood. In the vibrant city of San Francisco lived a man named David. At 29, David was a successful software developer, known for his innovative solutions and dedication to his work. He had a stylish apartment in the heart of the city, a close-knit group of friends, and a plethora of hobbies that kept him busy. Despite his fulfilling life, David often found himself at the center of discussions about his single status. One evening, during a family gathering, David's aunt leaned over and asked, "David, you're such a catch. Why are you still single?" David smiled politely, hiding his frustration. "I'm happy with my life right now. Being single allows me to focus on my career and passions." The question lingered in David's mind long after the gathering. It seemed society viewed being single as a problem that needed solving, but David saw it differently. He decided to explore and articulate why being single was not only okay, but also a fulfilling choice. David had always valued his independence. Being single allowed him to make decisions without having to consider a partner's needs or preferences. He could travel spontaneously, take on new challenges at work, and spend his free time however he chose. This freedom enabled him to grow personally and professionally. "Remember when I decided to backpack through Europe last summer?" David said to his friends during a casual get-together. "I booked the tickets the week before and left without any second thoughts. Being single gave me that freedom." David cherished his friendships deeply. He had a diverse group of friends who shared his interests and supported him through thick and thin. Being single allowed him to invest time and energy into these relationships, creating a strong support network. "I have time to help my friends move, celebrate their successes, and support them during tough times," David explained. These friendships are incredibly meaningful and fulfilling. David had a wide range of interests, from rock climbing to playing the guitar to coding side projects. Being single gave him the time and space to explore these hobbies fully. He joined a rock climbing gym, started a local band with friends, and developed an app that he had been passionate about for years. "I love the freedom to dive into my passions without feeling guilty about neglecting a partner," David said. Growing up, David had seen the financial struggles his parents faced and learned the importance of financial independence. Being single gave him control over his finances, allowing him to save, invest, and spend as he saw fit. He enjoyed the freedom of making his own financial decisions and planning for his future. I've been able to save for my dream of buying a house in the city, David shared. And I don't have to consult anyone else about it. For David, happiness and success were not defined by a relationship status. He found joy in his accomplishments, his friendships, and his personal growth. He believed that being single allowed him to live authentically and pursue his true passions without external pressures. Happiness isn't about fitting into someone else's expectations, David said. It's about living a life that feels right for me. As David shared his insights with his friends and family, they began to see his perspective. They realized that his choice to remain single was not out of necessity, but out of a desire to live a fulfilling and independent life. David's story serves as a reminder that being single is not a problem to be fixed, but a valid and fulfilling choice. It's an opportunity to grow, pursue passions, and build meaningful relationships on one's own terms. David's journey of embracing singlehood is a testament to the power of self-love, independence, and the endless possibilities that lie ahead when one chooses to live authentically. For David, and many like him, singlehood is not a state of lack but a canvas for creating a rich and meaningful life. Story 5: Single and Thriving with a Best Friend. In the vibrant city of Chicago lived a man named Max. At 31, Max was a successful graphic designer, known for his creativity and dedication. He lived in a trendy apartment downtown and had a close-knit group of friends. Among them, his best friend, Jenna, stood out. Jenna was not only his confidant, but also his partner in all adventures. Both Max and Jenna were single and often found themselves discussing the societal pressures they faced regarding their relationship status. One sunny Saturday, Max and Jenna decided to spend the day exploring the city. They started with brunch at their favorite cafe, where they enjoyed their usual eggs Benedict and lattes. As they sat by the window, Jenna brought up a recent family gathering. "You know, my aunt asked me again why I'm still single," Jenna said, rolling her eyes. "I told her I'm happy with my life as it is, but she just didn't get it." Max nodded sympathetically. "I get the same questions all the time. It's like people think we need to be in a relationship to be complete." Max and Jenna cherished their independence. Being single allowed them to make spontaneous plans without having to consider a partner's schedule. They could travel, take on new hobbies, and focus on their careers without compromise. "Remember our impromptu road trip to Nashville last month?" Max grinned. "We decided on a whim and had the best time." "That's the kind of freedom I love." Jenna laughed. "Exactly. And we didn't have to check in with anyone else. Just packed our bags and went." Max and Jenna's friendship was a cornerstone of their lives. They supported each other through thick and thin, creating a bond that was both deep and unwavering. They invested time and effort into their friendship, making it as fulfilling as any romantic relationship. "Do you remember how you helped me prepare for that big presentation?" Jenna asked. "I was so nervous, but your pep talk made all the difference." Max smiled. "Of course. And you were there for me when I launched my freelance business. I couldn't have done it without your support." Both Max and Jenna had a wide range of interests. Max loved photography and spent weekends capturing the city's beauty, while Jenna was passionate about cooking and often experimented with new recipes. Being single gave them the time and space to fully engage in their hobbies. "I've started a photo series on urban landscapes," Max said, showing Jenna some recent shots on his phone. "It's been so rewarding to dive into this project." Jenna nodded. "And I'm taking a pastry class next week. It's something I've always wanted to do, and now I have the time." Max and Jenna valued their financial independence. They made their own financial decisions, from saving for future goals to indulging in personal treats. This autonomy allowed them to live life on their terms. "I've been saving up for a solo trip to Japan," Max shared. "I'm planning to go next spring." "That's amazing," Jenna exclaimed. "I've been thinking about investing in a small food truck business. I want to bring my culinary creations to more people." For Max and Jenna, happiness wasn't defined by their relationship status. They found joy in their accomplishments, their friendship, and the adventures they shared. They believed that being single allowed them to live authentically and pursue their true passions without external pressures. "Happiness isn't about fitting into someone else's expectations," Max said. "It's about living a life that feels right for us." Jenna agreed. "We're creating our own paths, and that's what matters." As Max and Jenna walked through the city, enjoying the day in each other's company, they felt a sense of contentment. Their journey of embracing singlehood and supporting each other was a testament to the power of friendship, independence, and living authentically. Max and Jenna's story serves as a reminder that being single is not a problem to be fixed, but a choice to be celebrated. It's an opportunity to grow, pursue passions, and build meaningful relationships on their own terms. For them, singlehood is not a state of lack, but a canvas for creating a rich and fulfilling life. Story 6: Thriving at 30. In the vibrant city of Austin, Texas, lived a woman named Emma. At 30, Emma had a successful career as a graphic designer, a cozy apartment filled with art and plants, and a close circle of friends. Despite her accomplishments and fulfilling life, Emma often found herself reflecting on her single status, especially during social gatherings and family events. One crisp autumn evening, Emma attended a dinner party at her friend Sarah's house. As the evening progressed, conversations naturally turned to relationships. Sarah, who was recently engaged, turned to Emma and asked, "So, Emma, are you seeing anyone?" Emma smiled politely, feeling a familiar twinge of discomfort. "No, not right now. I'm just focusing on myself and my career." The responses varied, but the underlying sentiment was clear. Many people around her believed that being single at 30 was something that needed to be fixed. Emma left the party feeling a mix of frustration and determination. She didn't want to let societal expectations define her happiness. The next morning, Emma decided to embrace her single life fully. She made a list of goals and dreams she had been putting off and set out to achieve them. The first item on her list was to travel solo to a place she had always wanted to visit, Japan. A few weeks later, Emma found herself in Tokyo, surrounded by the city's dazzling lights and vibrant culture. She wandered through ancient temples, savored exquisite sushi, and marveled at the cherry blossoms in full bloom. Each day was an adventure, and she felt a newfound sense of freedom and empowerment. One evening, while exploring a tranquil garden, Emma struck up a conversation with a fellow traveler named Luca, who was also exploring Japan solo. They shared stories of their travels, dreams, and the paths that had led them to Japan. Luca admired Emma's courage and independence, and they quickly became friends. Back in Austin, Emma's life continued to flourish. She threw herself into her work with renewed passion, taking on challenging projects and earning recognition for her creativity. She also started painting again, a hobby she had neglected for years, and even showcased her work in a local art gallery. Emma also joined a community yoga class, where she found a supportive group of people who shared her interests. Through yoga, she discovered a sense of inner peace and balance that helped her navigate life's challenges. She realized that being single allowed her the freedom to explore her passions and grow as an individual. One day, while attending a local farmer's market, Emma ran into Luca, who had recently moved to Austin. They were thrilled to reconnect and spent the afternoon reminiscing about their time in Japan. Their friendship blossomed, and they started exploring the city together, from trying out new restaurants to hiking in the nearby hills. As months passed, Emma and Luca grew closer. They supported each other's dreams and celebrated their individual achievements. One evening, while watching the sunset from a hilltop, Luca turned to Emma and said, "You know, meeting you has been one of the best parts of my journey. I admire your strength and independence." Emma smiled, feeling a sense of contentment. "Thank you, Luca. I feel the same way. But what's important is that we both continue to grow and pursue our passions, whether we're together or apart." Their relationship, built on mutual respect and independence, was different from anything Emma had experienced before. She realized that being single at 30 had given her the time and space to understand herself better and build a life she loved. Years later, Emma looked back on her journey with pride. She had embraced her single life, traveled the world, and pursued her passions. She had learned that happiness wasn't tied to a relationship status, but to living authentically and fully. Emma's story serves as an inspiration to others who feel pressured by societal expectations. At 30, she had discovered that singlehood was not a limitation but an opportunity to thrive, grow, and create a fulfilling life on her own terms. Bye and see you again in the next videos and stories.